Hey y'all, Moses here. Every week I get dozens of messages asking me, is PUBG worth playing? Maybe these people have quit during early access or they quit during 1.0, but regardless, there are lots of people who watch my streams and YouTube videos who just don't play the game anymore. I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people. I've taken long breaks from PUBG mainly because I've been casting and traveling the world covering the esports side of the game. But every time I came home, it got a little bit harder and harder to get into a game that still had a lot of major issues. Over the last few months, PUBG has made some marked improvements. Things that have changed in the game that have made things easier, a little bit more accessible, and quote-unquote newbie friendly. If you quit the game in early access, things are completely different. And I wanted to make this video to show you guys just how things have changed and maybe do enough to sway you into at least trying the game again. That and more in today's video, which is sponsored by Massdrop. I cannot say enough good things about this Sennheiser PC37X from Massdrop. These things are beautiful. They've got a best-in-class quality microphone. They're extremely comfortable, and they've got terrific sound, which you can control on the right ear cup using that little volume dial right there with the detachable cable if you like to destroy stuff like I do. Check these things out using the link down in the description, and without further ado, let's get started. This footage is from PUBG's early access period, specifically October of 2017, before the release of 1.0 and any of the subsequent overhauls the game has experienced since then. If you joined the PUBG hype train during early access, this footage is from that explosive period where at one point over 3 million players were playing PUBG every single day. This footage shows just how raw the game was, both visually and mechanically back then. What you don't see is the rampant cheating, the lack of features, and the stability issues that were hallmarks of this early time. Many people who played this version of the game didn't even stick around to play Sanhok, much less Vikendi. Maybe you're one of those people. When PUBG released, nobody on the dev team expected what came next. Record-breaking sales and a game that was woefully unready for the attention it was receiving. Things moved quickly, and with Brendan Green handling press duties and creatively managing the game, stress began to show. Changes came slowly, and often created additional issues that quickly wore down a player base that started hopeful, but soon became angry. For many, PUBG was their first taste of the Battle Royale game mode, and the game's charm was quickly overtaken by its many issues. 1.0 released and failed to meet many expectations for a stable product. And then, player population started to decline, both due to frustration and competitors like Fortnite entering the market. Behind the scenes, things were changing. PUBG underwent a massive hiring drive to shore up their internal talent, opening offices across the world in order to facilitate what had become a global enterprise. Through that period in the spring and summer of 2018, PUBG spun up a mobile version of the game, launched and refined the Xbox port, and had its first global esports tournament at PGI in Berlin. Summer 2018 is when positive changes began to be felt as the much-memed Fix PUBG campaign kicked off and began an effort to win back public opinion and fix long-standing issues. Whether or not Fix PUBG was a success or failure depends on who you're talking to, but what was fixed laid the groundwork for future improvements. In the closing months of 2018, the general vibe around the PUBG community was that the game was failing. For every good move PUBG made, an equally bad one would often follow. Introducing the first Battle Pass was welcomed until players saw a host of tedious and boring missions that didn't align with normal gameplay. A focus on cosmetics and microtransaction missteps made the community feel like sentient wallets for PUBG Corp to exploit. As someone who was there to watch it all unfold both behind the scenes and in the community, I shared in that desperation as more and more competitors to PUBG flooded the market and gameplay patches came at what felt like an excruciatingly slow pace. Then in December, the much-awaited snow map, Vikendi, arrived along with the first of what became a series of massive patches. The game's performance improved significantly as a result of the Vikendi patch, which integrated the last few changes from the Fix PUBG campaign. New content was being added to the game in the form of new weapons, vehicles, and overhauls to previous weapon and item balance. Through the first quarter of 2019, that pace hasn't slowed, with patch number 27 at the end of March being the largest and most sweeping PUBG patch to date, which brings us to the present PUBG. Take a look for yourself. Right now, PUBG has never felt better. I had my doubts that my feelings of interest would ever return as someone who just wants to jump on and enjoy what the game has to offer. The game runs better than ever, with the micro stuttering and low FPS being mostly eliminated if you have a PC built within the last 2 to 3 years. The integration of a unified anti-cheat has cut down on the amount of blatant hackers to the point where I rarely, if ever, experience someone who is obviously cheating. The game has a battle pass that allows you to unlock cosmetic content just by playing normal PUBG in whatever way you feel like, which is a marked improvement over the previous iterations. Erangel underwent an initial loot buff, which makes it slightly easier to get geared up on PUBG's oldest map, even though I believe there is still room for improvement there before the remastered version of the map releases later this year. Even though I don't necessarily agree with some of the balance changes, PUBG has never been more friendly for newer players, but still presents an incredibly rewarding challenge and arguably the greatest satisfaction from victory out of any of the BRs I've played. I'm not here to try and tell you that every aspect of the game is sunshine and rainbows. There are still many ways for PUBG to improve, but most of these are supplemental issues. Things like a proper ranked leaderboard and additional long-term awards for veteran players to work on. I'd also like to see North American servers centralized to cut down on West Coast ping issues and desync. All of these things are pain points for the veteran player, but for a new or returning player, PUBG has simply never been better than it is now. If you're looking for the most thrilling experience in the Battle Royale genre, it's time to take another look at the game that started it all. The tradition of this channel is trying to guide players to success, so I've got a few tips for you to help ease your transition back into the game. The first tip I want to mention is using the training mode. This one might seem like a simple one, but for those who are returning to the game or haven't been around for a while, PUBG has a comprehensive training mode that allows you to use all the different guns, all the different vehicles. You can even practice parachuting. Every aspect of PUBG can be practiced, at least in a small part, on PUBG's training map. And that means that you'll be able to practice recoil control, check out the different kits, and find a way that you can play the game in a way that's comfortable for you. There is no such thing as there is kind of a such thing as the best and worst gun, at least now, but there is no such thing as a bad loadout if you're efficient with it. So get out there, just try the training mode out, and just use that as your kind of springboard into your first couple of games. The second tip I want to give you on that note is embrace the suck. The first couple of games you're going to play in PUBG are going to be brutal. You're going to lose, you're going to get killed in the looting phase, you're going to get run over by cars, blown up with grenades, shot in the street. There's going to be a million different ways that you're going to lose games in PUBG. I still experience that now. I've had about 1,500 hours, which is a lot by comparison to most people, but in the overarching PUBG landscape, at least now, is actually not that much. And I die in stupid ways constantly. Even the guy who's writing the guides, ladies and gentlemen, I die in stupid ways all the time. If you watch me on stream at twitch.tv/wtfmoses, I just have fun with it. Have fun with the goofy ways you die, even though it can be frustrating, even though you might be in the top 5. Stupid things are going to happen to you and you're going to make stupid mistakes. It's just about embracing the suck, and the suck in this case is probably going to be you. You're going to be the one who sucks, because I suck too, man. It's just the way it goes. And if you can get past that initial hump that you're not going to be awesome, that's going to be fine for you. And I think you'll be able to get through that initial hump of learning the game. And on that note, again, the third and final tip of this video is get out there and watch people who are better than you are. If I'm going to recommend someone, obviously my first choice would be Choco Taco. He's probably the most popular North American PUBG streamer now, as well as K-Mind. K-Mind, a professional player, plays for Cloud9. I've been watching this player from the very beginning when he kind of burst onto the scene, and now is one of the best players in North America, and by way of that, the world. He's very fun to watch, and he likes to give tips, and he likes to answer questions in his chat, so check out K-Mind as well. Just watch people who are better than you. Watch guides. I've got lots of tips on this channel, so you can kind of get all this content together, find something that works for you, and just jump back in. And just don't worry about it. Have some patience. Enjoy the mission content, whatever it is. Just give PUBG a chance again, and I bet you'd be rewarded. I'm having a lot of fun with it now, and believe me, I've been down on the game myself for a long period of time. There's been some dark days. I haven't played a lot, but as someone who's now kind of jumping back into what equates to full-time playing, it is just simply the best battle royale on the market. I cannot imagine having played Apex or Fortnite, Call of Duty. I've played them all, and I can tell you that PUBG is still the most rewarding one out there. So if you want to hang out with me on stream, you can check me out again at twitch.tv/wtfmoses. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/wtfmoses. And I encourage you to watch PUBG Esports. There's a lot to be learned there as well. The NPL is starting up again here at the end of April, and it should be a good time to watch that as well if you want to kind of get an idea as to how the pros play the game. I hope you guys give PUBG a chance, and this is not a sponsored PUBG video. I want to point that out there. I'm just having a good time with the game, it's in a great position, and it's the best it's ever been. So now's the time. If you've been skeptical or on the fence or gave it up early, go back, check it out, and let me know what happens to you. I want to know how your first couple of games go. Let me know down in the comments. Like the video if it was helpful or at least enjoyable to you. And until next time, I'll see you out there.